Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Daily Community Prayer. I'm still Jan Hagens, Director of Summer Study. Welcome back. I'm just going to take this brief moment for a quick announcement, a reminder that today at 4:30 Eastern Daylight Time, we'll have a keynote, not a keynote address, a keynote interview in a sense. And our featured star is Professor David Kelsey, who joined Yale Divinity School in 1954, so almost has 70 years of history under the belt and can lay out the development and connections and comparisons. So it is a wonderful opportunity. He's a great speaker, so I think we really have a treat to look forward to. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm just trying to put that onto your calendar if you have the time. 4:30 this afternoon. We'll go for about 50 minutes with the interview, and then we'll have question and answers. So you can ask questions, and I'll relay those to him. And you can ask all those questions about old times at YDS that you've always wanted to ask. All right, thank you. And with that, I'm handing it back to Phoenix.
Thank you, Dr. Hagens. Welcome to Marquand Chapel. Again, this virtual summer study Marquand Chapel. In this Arts Tuesday service, we will explore what it means to be in a garden through poetry, song, and artwork. Verdant, lush, maybe tropical, maybe oasis in the desert. What does it mean to be in a garden? What comes to mind for you when hearing that word? Garden. Please take a moment to share in the chat. What comes to mind? What word or words? As we continue to consider the gardens in our lives, be they outside or inside, external or internal, we begin today by centering ourselves around our breath as a way to get into a mode of meditation and contemplation. We'll share a video now that will play alongside this guided meditation. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a few seconds. And exhale. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a few seconds. Exhale. Continue to do so. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. With every breath, feel how time is flowing at the speed of your breath to the rhythm of your heartbeat. Feel how time that runs so quickly in our daily routines slows down, slower by the second. Feel the eternity in every moment. The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Beloved, remember that with the divine, one day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like one day. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. We carry in us the history of multitudes of people and whole communities, of whole ecosystems, and our connection to them. We are our grandmother's prayers, grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestor. We are the spirit of God. We carry in us the stories of millions to come, the sheer endlessness of possibilities, the vastness of the universe. We are God's creatures, connected to each other and to all creation by our breath and by our heartbeat. For the last time, take a deep breath in, hold it, and exhale. Now, slowly, come back to this Zoom space, to this beloved community, to this particular time and place. Stretch a little bit. Your arms, your legs, your fingers, your neck, your back. Give it a little roll. And be present. Welcome again to Marquand Chapel. We're so glad you're here. A reading from Psalm 104.
Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my God, you are very great.
In majesty, wrapped in light as with a garment.
You make springs gush forth in the valleys. They flow between the hills.
Giving drink to every wild animal. The wild donkeys quench their thirst.
By the streams, the birds of the air have their habitation. They sing among the branches.
From your lofty abode, you water the mountains. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of your work.
You cause the grass to grow for the cattle and plants for people to use.
To bring forth food from the earth and wine to gladden the human heart.
Oil to make the face shine and bread to strengthen the human heart.
The trees of the Lord are watered abundantly, the cedars of Lebanon that he planted.
In them, the birds build their nests. The stork has its home in the fir trees.
The high mountains are for the wild goats. The rocks are a refuge for connies.
You have made the moon to mark the seasons. The sun knows its time for setting.
You make darkness, and it is night, when all the animals of the forest come creeping out.
The young lions roar for their prey, seeking their food from God.
When the sun rises, they withdraw and lie down in their dens.
People go out to their work and to their labor until the evening.
O Lord, how manifold are your works. In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your creatures.
Yonder is the sea, great and wide. Creeping things innumerable are there, living things both small and great.
There go the ships, and Leviathan that you formed to sport in it.
These all look to you to give them their food in due season.
When you give to them, they gather it up. When you open your hand, they are filled with good things.
When you hide your face, they are dismayed. When you take their breath away, they die and return to their dust.
When you send forth your spirit, they are created, and you renew the face of the ground.
May the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works.
A reading from Job chapter 9, reading from verse 1 through to 12 and 14 to 16. Job answered his friends and said, I know well that it is so. But how can a man be justified before God? Should one wish to contend with him, he could not answer him once in 1,000 times. God is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who has withstood him and remained unscathed? He removes the mountains before they know it. He overturns them in his anger. He shakes the earth out of its place, and the pillars beneath it tremble. He commands the sun, and it rises not. He seals up the stars. He alone stretches out the heavens and treads upon the crests of the sea. He made the Bear and the Orion, the Pleiades and the constellations of the south. He does great things. past finding out marvelous things beyond reckoning. Should he come near me, I see him not. Should he pass by, I am not aware of him. Should he seize me forcibly, who can say him nay? Who can say to him, what are you doing? How much less shall I give him any answer, or choose out arguments against him? Even though I were right, I could not answer him, but should rather beg for what was due me. If I appealed to him and he answered my call, I could not believe that he would hearken to my words. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
No Verifiable Fingerprints by Ted Loder. Oh God, you touched everything, but lightly, leaving no verifiable fingerprints. And how many thousand, quite unlikely, routine times do you bear me as a father, guide me as a mother, captivate me as a child, challenge me as a friend, confront me as an enemy, ignore me as holiness having its own terms, which are not mine until this mortal spheres turn wiser, as now they slowly do? Oh, elusive, ingenious one, my dullness, doubt, even my death does not prevent you from being God. Come, Lord, for the easy sonnets of the day, the well-honed phrase, the well-learned prayer rattle empty as night falls and turn to mock my earlier charade. Your touch and time has shivered me to readiness, a mortal's quiet willingness, a listening, a gratitude, a quaking reliance on your promise of life in the haunting, risen Christ. And yet, oh God, this weight upon my heart, this stone is too great for me to move alone. Come, roll it away, this crush of fear, this smother of self-preoccupation, this ponderous ego, this bloated arbiter of right, this bejeweled scepter of doubt, and raise me up in mercy, raise me up higher than the drag of the past, higher than all present feeling, to trust that you will never give me up because of what my death would mean. Not just to me, but even more to you, a child's death to a mother, to a father. Oh, trustworthy friend, raise me up to trust like that, to love like that, and perhaps a little past this dark glass of mortality in which I but dimly see. And so by grace to come to life and come to dare and come to hope your future in. Oh God, for Christ's sake, touch me, even lightly, once again, and it will be enough.
Our scripture reading for this morning will come from Matthew chapter 26, verses 36 through 41. Then Jesus went with them to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee and began to be grieved and agitated. Then he said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and stay awake with me." And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not what I want, but what you want." Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, "So, could you not stay awake with me 1 hour? Stay awake and pray, that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak."
Gethsemane, the site of Jesus' agonizing loneliness just before his arrest, was a garden. Is one ever really alone in a garden? His disciples, of course, were physically present, but they were asleep, off in their own worlds, oblivious to Jesus' great need. And they were certainly not the only living creatures in Jesus' immediate vicinity. A garden like this was no doubt teeming with life. Vines, mosses, roses, vipers, microbes, crickets, doves. We might imagine that they were all right there around Jesus, living their own lives as Jesus pled with God, surrounded by them all, and yet utterly alone. If you Google image search the phrase Jesus with animals, you'll see that this artistic genre almost exclusively depicts a white Jesus surrounded by animals who are homogeneously meek, obsequious, docile, obedient, without any desire or will apart from Jesus. So, as an alternative, I offer a wondering. How would it have looked for Jesus, rather than exercising perfect control over the non-human world, as these depictions imply, to have instead experienced in his life on earth the full breadth of relationships with non-human animals, just like the rest of us do? What enables the assumption that Jesus' fully human experience was constrained within the bounds of his human-to-human encounters? What might we gain instead by believing that Jesus had a fully human experience in his encounters with all creation, all species, all beings, in the full complexity of their personhood? Jesus would have not only been at times adored and worshipped by non-human life, but he would have also experienced their enmity, contented obliviousness, distraction, clinginess, ambivalence, desire to feed him, and desire to eat him. And those encounters, too, are holy. Jesus calls us away from the evil delusion, the essential cog in the engine of racist logic, that some lives have more spiritual agency than others, that there's a hierarchy of souls, that certain flesh is holier than other flesh, that certain people, times, or spaces are more God-full than others. The gardens we encounter in the Bible are sites of bliss and horror, glorious beauty and terrible ugliness. But God, our God who walks through the garden in the cool of day, reminds us that whether it is the Garden of Eden or the Garden of Gethsemane, we are always, always in God's garden.
So my prayer is a reading from the prophet Amos. It's a psalm that celebrates the Creator. Behold, the mountain maker, the wind worker, the draftsman of dawn's dark. The Lord of hosts is his name. Behold, the arranger of the constellations, the changer of midnight's dark to morning, the dimmer of day to night, the summoner of the waters of the sea, who then ladles them over the edge of the land. The Lord of hosts is his name. Bless the Lord, O my soul.
Thank you, Professor Mowgli. Our concluding hymn today is Abide With Me. And bear with me as I change my setup here a little bit. The music can be found in the worship aid, which I hope is now accessible to everyone. sincere apologies about that. We will make sure that that doesn't happen again. And I would love if you all would sing along with me on mute. I wish that we could be singing in person, but unfortunately the Zoom world does not allow for harmonies, etc. And just give me 1 second as I pull this up. I feel a little bit like a one-woman circus over here trying to pull up the different videos. So thank you for your patience. Without further ado, let's see, we start on a G here. Abide with me, fast falls the eventide, the darkness deepens, Lord, with me abide. When other helpers fail and comforts flee, help of the helpless, oh, abide with me. Swift to its close ebbs out life's little day. Earth's joys grow dim, its glories pass away. Change and decay in all around I see. O Lord, who changes not, abide with me. I need your presence every passing hour. What but your grace can foil the tempter's power? Who like yourself my guide and strength can be? Through cloud and sunshine, oh, abide with me. In life, in death, O Lord, abide with me. And finally, let's see here, we are going to go in peace, and I invite you to unmute and wish each other peace, and also to stay around if you want to be broken out into small groups to have some fellowship after. But in the meantime, go in peace, friends.
Peace be with you.
Peace.
Peace.
Hello.
Peace be with you. Peace to all.
And also with you.
Peace. May you be happy.
Frieden sei mit euch.
Danke.